Yo, what up, Street Talks? The Eric from the Eric blog. So I just wanted to do a fun little video with you. So this basic notion is simple. The idea is RAWs for suckers. So obviously, I'm not saying you don't have to shoot RAW if you like to shoot it. I'm just saying don't get suckered into thinking that you must shoot RAW all the time. So this is my thought. Ultimately, what we're trying to do in photography is we're actually trying to maximize and minimize our workflow to be the absolute simplest. And now the problem is when we try to complicate our workflow, we try to add unnecessary steps to the whole shebang. And why is it that there's such an over-obsession with RAW? This is my thought. You know, most of us photographers who get into photography, we're a bunch of nerds, right? And we like technical things, we're engineers, scientists, and so forth, and you know, we kind of like technical, nerdy stuff. Then we want to feel superior, right? So you buy a DSLR, a big lens, whatever, you know, dick measuring contest, whatever it may be. And then when you see other newbies trying to get into photography, the strategy is you want to augment your own self-esteem and your ego to feel higher by putting other people down. By saying, oh, you noobs, you don't know how to shoot RAW, you don't know how to shoot manual, da-da-da. And so, you know, they try to flex in front of newbies saying, you must shoot RAW because I am the paragon and I'm the summit of all knowledge in photography and wisdom. And if you don't do as I say, you are a lesser photographer. And also, a lot of photography teachers, bloggers, vloggers, you know, producers, people who make courses, sell presets, whatever, it's in their vested interest to promote shooting RAW because with RAW files you have to process them and, you know, having Adobe Lightroom and stuff like that. It's the whole market, the incentive is to promote RAW. Now, for myself, I only ever use RAW out of pure necessity because, like, for example, in the Ricoh GR2, I couldn't get the black and whites to look the way I wanted them to look. And so I shot RAW and I developed a lot of presets. They're available for free, just Google Eric presets. And my desire was to make photos that looked aesthetically beautiful to me. Now, with the Ricoh GR3, it's really quite fantastic, right? So with the Ricoh GR3, there's all these great black and white presets, the high contrast black and white. And I personally love it because it helps simplify my workflow, right? Let's see, how can we make this more Inception than it already is? All right, so, and if for y'all clever peoples out there, you see the Inception there? Like, how many Erics can you find? Anyways, so once the Ricoh GR3 came along and then I started to test it, I actually was able to make the black and whites look the way I wanted to with just JPEG. And so I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking sucker if I decide not to shoot, you know, JPEG. And even like on the Lumix cameras, I'm a huge fan of the intelligent auto mode. Even the Ricoh GR3, I shoot pretty much all my photos in P program mode, and I just point and click. And even now, I just use autofocus. It's Ricoh GR3, it's amazing autofocus, so I don't have to play with anything else. So essentially, with shooting RAW, shooting manual, blah blah, just be very like, don't let others try to lower your self-esteem by just trying to bully you into feeling otherwise. Just be a little bit skeptical and be a little sus. You're like, what is people's best interests, and are people trying to tyrannize over things? And, you know, I've always been a big proponent of shooting program mode for a long time. Even apparently Steve McCurry shoots program mode. And yeah, I just think that if your camera, the JPEG settings look good, stick with JPEGs. Ricoh makes amazing JPEG images, positive film preset, high contrast black and white. Fujifilm has great color presets. I think even Leica cameras have great. I'm a huge fan of the Lumix cameras. Just shoot intelligent auto mode if you want to do it. Or if you shoot P mode on Lumix cameras, there's the high contrast dynamic black and white mode, which I really like, that I use on the Lumix G9 for vlogging and stuff like that. You know, same thing goes with Olympus. Like, essentially all camera manufacturers spend like millions of dollars R&Ding these cameras. Of course they're gonna try to make the JPEGs look good, because most people shoot JPEG, they don't shoot RAW. And so, yeah, don't let other people bully you. When possible, shoot JPEG. If you can't get, and obviously, like, there's caveats, right? Like, if you're a commercial photographer and you really need the photos to look a certain way, shoot RAW. But, you know, who knows? Maybe even as a commercial photographer, a wedding photographer, if you can shoot JPEG and get away with it, you're smart. So, moral of the story is, don't be a sucker.